Okay, let's take a look at quarterbacks on the waiver wire. Headlined Lawrence by who I term basically the NFL's answer to Linsanity, and that's Dobbs sanity at the moment. He is available still in 47% of leagues. He shouldn't be available in any league at the moment. And then Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, and Jordan Love. The
astronaut, Joshua Dobbs, making his Sunday Night Football.
He absolutely should not be available on any waivers. He's a weekly starter.
Correct. Factually correct. He's a weekly starter. He's got mobility and Justin Jefferson coming back on a fantasy-friendly pass-first offense.
This man, as a Viking, is quarterback 3 in fantasy football.
Yeah, he's certainly the guy who stands out most on this list. Matthew, Russell Wilson.
I like the Pastronaut as a...
You don't like Dobbs sanity, the Dobb father?
No, I like Pastronaut.
Dobby? I like Dobby.
Dobby.
Yeah. I was very invested.
Dobby.
I was very invested in the Vikings winning that game on the weekend, and I may have sent some very strange voice messages to friends doing the Dobby. I'm not going to do
what? What was the Dobby voice?
Dobby, is that a touchdown, Dobby? Yeah, it was very
That's
bad.
exactly what I would have imagined.
It was very
I think
grim.
we have our open for tomorrow. Russell Wilson against Minnesota, he's looked better. I mean, one of the things is the Russell-sance is happening. He's now had at least 17 fantasy points each of the past 2 games. He's had at least 2 total touchdowns in 6 of 9 games. There's at least a floor now with Russell Wilson, who gets you some points with his legs as well, at least 30 rushing yards in 4 of the past 5. So that's the other thing that's been nice is that, as the Broncos have gotten better and gotten more familiar with Sean Payton and the offense, the fact is that Russ is starting to run again. Again, he's not going to remind you of Lamar or Josh Allen or anything like that, but 30 yards is 30 yards.
If I know I'm getting 20 to 30 rushing yards from Russell Wilson, knowing what else he's going to do, I'll take that every single time.
He's fine. He's completely fine. And he's available in 54% of leagues. Matthew Stafford back. How healthy is he going to be? Is he gutting it out or is he 100%? We don't know yet. If he were 100% healthy, I might have him higher than Russell Wilson. It's kind of right there, either or. But because we have questions about the full health of him and he doesn't run, I have Wilson over Stafford. I will just say this. He plays Seattle this week. We just saw future Hall of Famer Sam Howell light up the Seahawks. When these 2 teams played in week 1, Stafford had over 330 yards in that game against Seattle as well. And you have to believe positive touchdown regression is coming for Stafford. So far this year, he's had a career low 2.8% touchdown rate. For his career, he's usually 4.7 entering this season. So positive touchdowns coming with a healthy Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua as well.
Yep. Okay, let's jump to tight ends and start off with...
And then Jordan Love if you're desperate.
Yeah, it's very desperate. All right, don't have to be desperate though, Lawrence, for Trey McBride, who's been an absolute monster, and he went 8 for 131.
How is this guy still available?
This is another one where I'm like, y'all got to pick him up. 50% available in Yahoo leagues. That's way too much.
McBride is only 41% available, but we want to mention him just because we think he should be 0% available. The fact that he's available in 41% of Yahoo leagues is crazy, Lawrence.
I don't think I don't think the matchups for him matter at this point. You got Kyler back. He clearly they look like they've been working on their chemistry these past 3 weeks because he was the guy that Kyler depended on when the game was on the line, throughout the game, early, late, no matter what have you. He's a tight end 1 the rest of the way.
Yeah, hopefully he's gone in your league and hopefully he's on your roster because, again, this is somebody that we talked about how when Ertz went down, McBride was going to be the focal point. This is a team that was top 2 in tight end target share just as an offense. Since Zach Ertz went down, McBride is the 3rd best tight end in fantasy. You see some of the other waiver targets there, assuming McBride is gone in your league. How about Pat Freiermuth, who had 4 end zone targets in less than 4 full games played? Something has to get better for this Steelers offense. Luke Musgrave, I'm telling you, at some point this season, Luke Musgrave's going to be a thing.
It's happening at the moment.
It's starting to happen. Like McBride, we've seen Kincaid, we've seen Michael Mayer got a touchdown. Some of these young tight ends starting to come into their thing. And so, Musgrave, who's had over 50 receiving yards in consecutive games, it's a nice matchup with the Chargers to allow the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing tight ends this week if you need a streamer this week with Musgrave. Then Tyler Conklin, he's out there. He plays for the Jets. 2nd most targets for the Jets there at Lawrence. And then Tanner Hudson is 100% available.
As he probably should be.
I don't know. Look, he's had at least 10 receptions the last 2 games. He's out targeting Irv Smith 12-5 over that stretch as well. They're playing Baltimore on the short week. This is the Thursday night game. But again, if you're desperate, Tanner Hudson is somebody who qualifies at tight end, and you could do worse. and probably have.
Yeah, Musgrave's the guy on that list that is the most interesting. Jordan Love quietly has been playing a little bit better.
And look out, Green Bay plays the Chargers, and then they play the Lions. And we saw those two teams play each other and saw what they gave up. Game. So, there you go.
Okay, let's look at some defense special team targets, starting off with the Dolphins at home. Off of the bye, Lawrence, they attack Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders, and then you also have the Commanders, Jags, and Lions in favorable matchups. Who do you like here?
Yeah, like the Dolphins here. The Raiders are definitely playing inspired football under Antonio Pierce. The offense still isn't doing much, though, and you like a decent Miami defense here against any rookie quarterback, especially if they're making their first few starts. I also like the Jaguars here. Yes, they just got thumped by the 49ers and bullied off the field, but that's not going to happen versus the Tennessee Titans team, who they've been struggling as well they struggled against the Tampa Bay defense that you should be able to throw against them. Since Will Levis's first game, it really hasn't been up to par, so I like the Jags and the Dolphins here. You got Matthews' Commanders here going against the Giants. We'll never be mad at starting the defense against young Tommy DeVito, who gets the bed made. Yeah, that made you want to do that name, DeVito.
Slight variation on the Luigi there.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a little more New Jersey.
A little more New Jersey as well. And by the way, the Lions, Justin Fields should be back for the Bears, so that's not as good a matchup as you might think. But the fact is that the Lions defense is good. I mean, that team is playing really well. The game's in Detroit as well.
Okay, let's close out with some droppables so you can pick up these players. Derek Carr, who seems to have avoided major injury, and he's on a bye, but he is not performing up to fantasy standard. Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor, that's his backfield now. Miles Sanders as well, that's Chuba Hubbard's. Michael Thomas, feared to have significant injury. Why are you looking at me, Matthew?
Because you have him in our league. Are you going to drop him? Will you drop him?
He gonna drop him and pick him up.
On Friday I was at a wedding celebration of love, and then I got a message that Michael Thomas had attacked someone with a brick, which just shows your life. It's ups and downs. Darren Waller also droppable with his health concerns and also just everything that's going on with the Giants offense at the moment.
I wonder if Dayball brings Dorsey over.
Yeah, maybe. You can do anything. It doesn't matter. Anything new will be better.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.